This is Steven from LegitTechTutorials, and welcome back to Beginning C++. So today we're going to be talking about functions. Functions are, in some other languages, if you've gone through some other languages on my site, they're also known as methods, which is basically a collection of code that allows you to run certain operations to do repetitive tasks. For example, even something like the addition sign. The addition sign is a method, right? You add one variable, another variable, and that is used constantly, so it's using something called recursion, so we could keep using that over and over again. So now, if you would take a look, what we're going to do is we're just going to continue on this guy, and then we're going to show you guys how to go about changing this. So another thing, also, you could get rid of, if you want to get rid of these, you're going to say using Namespace Std. And now that says for everything that you're using standard, and to import all that whole namespace library in, so all this stuff will work, plus more. So we don't have to keep extending it. Alright, so setting up a method. So setting up a method is very, very simple. First thing you have is something called a return type, which right now we're just going to tell it to be void. So we're going to say void, and then we're going to say let's just say add twice or something like that. And then in here we're going to have it closed. Now, okay, so what do we have here? So here we have the return type. So return type is exactly what you see here. See how this says int? So we're returning a type int, and then you see a return method. Should have a return 0. So it should have a return method on all these. So you say int main is returning a 0 value. So that if we then asked main what's going on, it would return that value. So what's going to happen here? So let's say that we just say, let me give you an example. Let's just say int add twice, and then we're going to say return 12. So now if we go in here and we do cout is we copy and paste this guy. And we say we call add twice. That's how we call add twice. So let's go ahead and build this. Succeeded. And see there, it returns a 12. We tell it to return 12, so what we're getting is we're getting that return value. Now, the next one is called a parameter. This guy right here. Well, first you have the name. This is the name of the function, and then you have the parameters of the function. So this is a way that we could pass values into the function and do multiple things with it. For example, let's say that we did and usually you'll have a naming convention for this. Most of the time it's like, for example, let's say we wanted to add the GPA and grade points twice. So what we're going to do is first we're going to tell it what type it is. So it's a double MPGA, and then it's going to be a double grade point. Right? So here you see it's giving us a red symbol because it wants us to pass in those variables. So what are we going to reference those variables? Okay, so let's just say it's MGPA plus grade points, and then we're just going to do times 2. Okay, so that's what it's going to return. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pass those two variables. First, let's just add something in there. So let's say like 3 and a 4. So now when we add the GPA, we're going to pass the GPA to it, and we're going to pass the grade points to it. Grade points. And now notice we have no problems here. So now we're passing these two in, passing this as MPGA, MGPA, and you notice that you don't want to usually have these conflicting. So you want to keep them, everything not conflicting. You don't want to overload anything. So you see, actually I didn't even overload this. It shouldn't cause too much of a problem, but it's just going to confuse you. So let's just say this is MGPA, at M grade point. So then if we go build, oopsies, build, I forgot a double. Oh, so we need to change this guy to a double, to return type double. So let's try this again here. Seems like I'm getting a runtime error. Okay, give me 1 second. Something corrupted. Okay, so for some reason it corrupted there. Oops. Alright, so we are back. Sorry about that. Usually I don't need to combine two videos together, but I was getting a runtime error. It lost one of my files for some reason. It was being used elsewhere and it couldn't find the linker. So yeah, so now you see 14, so this is 3 plus 4, 7, plus another 7 is 14. So, and that is the return type. Also, you could, get rid of the return type and just do a cout in there and do whatever you want. So, there's this type and there's the other type, which is called void. Well, I mean, you could do any primitive and any other data structure that you create. Void means lack of, so there's a lack of return type, so you don't have to return anything. You see here, you start getting an error. It says return type does not match the function type. There is no return type. So, if we go back to double, then we're good. So now let's say that we wanted to modify this version, and we wanted to modify this program and use a function. So let's just say that we're going to do grade. And we're going to have no return type, and we're just going to give it an int. So now this is going to allow us to do some really cool stuff. Check this out. So let's say we're going to return 1, returning 1, oh, I accidentally deleted a bracket. So if we return 1, it will allow us to, it's going to tell the program that, hey, this went through without a hitch. So what we could do here is let's go ahead and start cutting this in to our function. And let's go ahead and modify this to get it to work correctly. Okay. So let's actually have this return what the number is. So let's say returning, the integer value. So it's going to return the integer value. and then it's going to also return. Actually, never tried this. Okay, so it's just going to return an integer value, and then we're going to have it do enter C in grade, and then current grade. So basically what we want it to do here is we want it to have, basically what we could do is we could just cut this all in. We don't really need the main at all. So let's just go ahead and cut everything in here. So let's go ahead and go back until it flips back in here. Okay, so now it's flipped back in here. Let's get rid of the stuff that we added. And then let's just pull this in. And then get rid of this return. And now you'll notice that if we just go into the main, and because this is what I want to teach, is that the main, you don't really want to have anything in there. You want to have everything inside these specific ones. So as you notice here, this is complete. This method is completely standalone. Now, what you want to do, and what I'll do in following tutorials, is show you need to break these down. So you notice that we have a couple things that we could break down. Calculating the GPA, we could break into a different function. We could do all different kinds of stuff by breaking it apart. And we'll do that. We'll polish up this program later on. So what is the name of our function? It's grade. So all we have to do is do grade. You'll notice I am building it, and it says it succeeded. So I'm not running the previous one, and it works exactly how we had it before. So let's just say F and then Q. You see that it works exactly how we had it before with a one-line main now. So now we can start, moving away from having most of our code inside the main and having everything that we need outside the main and inside functions. Now, like I said, what we're going to work on is we're going to work on breaking up those functions into smaller and smaller and smaller functions to where we get about 10 lines per function. So from maybe about to here or less. So we would have one with a while loop, we have one with all the cout stuff, we would have one that calculates and returns the GPA, etc., etc. So we would have one that adds the grade, we would have one that's got all the variables in it, etc., etc. But we're going to go over that when we do classes. So now I believe you get the general idea. And now if you want to try, you could break these up into more and more methods and see if you could get it to work, be more modular. So now you could use just the main to set up a certain flow between the different methods. Alright, so this has been Steven from LegitTechTutorials. Thank you for watching this video. And if you don't completely understand this, we're going to be doing methods for the rest of the tutorial series. So you will get it very, very quickly. Alright, well, of course I would probably use the main a lot of times just to demonstrate some stuff, and then use this guy as, more of a demonstration purpose, and have this be a full-fledged program by the time we're done. Alright, so yeah, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe for more videos like it in this series and other series as well. If you have any questions, email me. The link to the reference book is in the description. And I would like to thank you for watching. Take it easy. Peace.